What's up guys, Jake Lowry here, and today we are very excited because we have purchased a $1,600 kayak that I am so stoked to get out on the water and show you guys what this thing is about. I have purchased a Bonafide SS127 along with the roof rack, and this thing is on top of my car. It is a beast. This thing is 12 foot 7 feet long and supposedly one of the most stable fishing kayaks out on the market. Today we are going to take this thing out. I'm going to film my first impressions of the stability of this kayak. So that said, why don't I get this thing off the roof of my car, and hopefully in not too long we are catching some fish. All right guys, I have the Bonafide SS127 sitting right behind me. This thing is a beast. This is about the biggest fishing kayak that I would want to fit on my car. And to be honest, it might be just too big. It's within the capacity of my roof rack, but this thing is a unit for me to get it up there by myself. Now that said, I'm gonna go tail to front to go through this kayak and tell you guys exactly why I purchased it and hopefully why it's going to be an unbelievable game changer for my fishing setup. In the back right here, we have a giant tank well for storage. I can fit a full-size Yeti cooler back here. Don't have it with me today. I actually don't have enough tackle to fill this kayak. That's going to be a theme. Every single bit of my tackle that I own can fit in the next part of storage, which is this little drawer that fits under the seat. This thing is really cool because they call it the junk drawer. Slides right out from under the seat and can fit full-size tackle boxes, multiple of them. Next, really, the showstopper is the Bonafide seat. This thing is about 24 inches off of the surface of the water, so you are sitting up so high. Now, what makes me second guess the height of the seat is the stability of the kayak. If I'm leaning and super wobbly, I'm not gonna wanna sit up that high. I can adjust it lower, but really, that's going to be the test whether or not the seat is stable. Comfort just sitting on it in my garage is unbelievable. This is like sitting on a living room couch while you're fishing, so that is pretty good. Next thing is the dry pod. This thing is perfect for holding like your cell phone, your car keys, camera batteries, those types of things. But when I open this bad boy up, it is absolutely massive again. This little pod right here is more storage than I had on my whole entire previous kayak. So again guys, theme of the Bonafide stuff, it is just made for fishing, and really I am so excited to get this thing out on the water. The last thing about this kayak that I'm going to point out to you guys before I get on the water, and my favorite thing about this kayak, is this right here. This oversized hatch allows you to get into the hull of the kayak, and if I open this thing up, I can fit like 10 to 20 fishing rods inside of my kayak, which I'm not gonna keep when I'm fishing, but I'm gonna use it for traveling, which is huge because I can travel in my little tiny sedan without having to have a single rod in my car. So that's just unbelievable game changer just right there. So that said, all of these features alone make this thing out of the box very, very fishable. I don't have a lot of customizations to it. I do have plans to put maybe a fish finder on it in the future, but not right now. So that said, I'm gonna get this thing rigged up with my gear. It's gonna look kind of funny because I don't have it set up to where I want it yet. But once I do that, we're gonna launch this thing and hopefully test the stability and see if this thing is truly, truly worth the $1,600 price point, or if I regret spending my money on it. What's it say?
No kayaks.
No kayaks?
Yeah. You didn't see that sign?
Well, I'm not blocking anyone. You got me. Hey man, the amount of times that is something random.
Hey, it don't surprise me to read any kind of sign.
Yeah.
Hey, that guy right there, you gotta watch him.
Yeah?
He'll sneak up on you and get the fish.
Right behind you, huh? Hey, well, I'm quiet. You won't even know I'm coming. All right. All right. All right, guys, we are officially launched in the kayak. First thing off the bat, launching it was extremely easy. I'm very, very impressed with the stability of this thing, just getting in and out of it, is so much better than what I've used to kind of fishing with on the other kayak. Now, all we really have left to test is standing ability. I already kind of stood in it, but I think the standing capability of this kayak is pretty unbelievable. So once I get to that spot, why don't we get stood up in this thing and see what it's all about. This lake is pretty interesting. Has some really big fish in it. It has a lot of fish in it, so it's one of the better bass fishing lakes that I'm generally used to fishing at. So that's why I came here. I thought it'd be a great spot for the maiden voyage, and I really, to be honest, haven't caught that many fish out of this lake, but I know this is one of those lakes that gives me odds to hook into 10, 12 plus pounders, and what better way to christen the old kayak than hooking into an absolute beast. All right, first thing I'm gonna do is the stand-up test, guys. So why don't I get up? Okay, this is just absurdly stable. I can legitimately stand up very comfortably on this kayak and fish off of it. Now, that said, I don't think standing is, the most efficient way to fish, but in the circumstances that I need to be at an elevated surface, that is going to be probably the MO. So why don't I sit down for here, set my paddle down, see if I can't make a first cast. I don't think I'm gonna need this spinning rod today. Set it back here for now. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with my big swim bait rod. I'm throwing this giant wake bait. See if maybe within the first couple casts I can hook into a new kayak fish. Man, wouldn't that be great? The water seems much higher than the last time I was here, and I think the reason for that is all this rain we've been getting in Texas. I'm still kind of in East Texas, not really in Central Texas, but the rain has just been absurd here the past couple months. Oh yeah, man. And this high water is actually pretty decent for the bass fishing. The reason I say that is because it keeps that water oxygenated and cold, and those fish get just a little more active than they typically would be in this time of year. Now, if I have to, I will go offshore and see if I can't catch some fish, but that's kind of a last resort situation. By this laydown was a spot. Not only is the stability of this kayak absurd, but also the tracking. I'm generally used to my kayak just being like, ooh, 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 and I get all turned around in it, but this kayak, I don't actually have to paddle much. I can kind of just get into the right position, and then I don't really have to worry about it, which is nice because I can fish more casts versus jack with the kayak, because the less jacking with the kayak I'm doing, the more fishing I'm doing, which is better. Now, I want to pull a kayak situation over here, and I want to see if I can't get up shallow in this thing and use why you would use a fishing kayak is to get the spots that the bass boats cannot, and maybe I can even stand up back there and fish off of it like I would a paddleboard. Once you get your momentum in this thing, it maintains its momentum pretty well. So it's not a speed demon kayak by any means, but it's honestly less of a pain in the ass to paddle because it tracks a lot better. So I'm not like putting in as much effort to keep it on the same track. this worm along this grass line. Stealth is one thing I'm going for with this kayak as well. This is the best feeling spot that I've had so far. Right on that point. Oh, is that a fish? Potentially. Could have been grass, so not entirely sure. Let's get it back in there though. Felt like a fish. Need to get Chris in the boat, guys, today. That is the goal. There's a little bait fish jumping. The stand-up paddle board is super nice for shallow water. Probably not the most stealthy thing, because I'm, you know, standing like 7 feet over the surface of the water. But I think what you lose in stealth, you gain in vantage point for sure. This is such a good spot, man. In the spawn, it would be just loaded with bass back here. Okay, turning around isn't very pleasant. Yep. There he is. Oh, nice. First fish on the kayak. Not a giant, but it counts as a fish, guys. Oh, maybe a ½ pound, maybe. Let's see. He ate that Guggen Mondo worm. Nice little dink. Aggressive little dink came right off of that little wood. Man, does that feel good though? To knock off the first fish, man, break the ice. That is such a good spot. I knew there was a fish back here. I knew it. My fish senses were tingling. They were tingling. Let's see if there's two fish in the same spot. For some reason, these fish in this lake are known to be very schooly. So I've re-rigged all 3 of my rods. The first rig I have is a spinning rod with a little 2-inch 6 Sense Divine swim bait. This thing is going to imitate some of those smaller bait fish that I see jumping out in the middle of the lake. And hopefully I might be able to pick up like a crappie or something on this. And then my next swim bait is I put on this JDM large soft plastic swim bait. This is a Jackal. I think it's 6 inches long, and this thing thumps like crazy, and it's gonna go through the grass a lot better than that glide bait with 6 hook points on it. And then the last thing I have is Old Faithful Classic. I have a jackhammer on there in a white and chartreuse color, very translucent, very natural, and then also a white 6 Sense Divine trailer on there. So I think I'm set up a little better for subsurface grass fishing, which I think hopefully will allow me to catch some better fish. Water's pretty muddy, so maybe this darker color will attract some more fish. Or maybe I'll just bomb a $30 swim bait into a tree. That is not good. I'm not. Oh. Man, this is becoming one of those days very quickly. When you dunk this centrifugal reel, it like very shortly loses its ability to break, which is kind of a bad thing for me because I have a habit of dunking very expensive fishing gear in the water. This seems like a life jacket activity. There we go. That was smooth. That lure is worth double what I paid for it now. If I lose this thing, it's gonna be so frustrating. Oh my God. See if he'll come back. What the heck was that? What the hell was that? That was an absolute monster. What the heck? That was a 5-pounder. Throw this swim bait in there. What are the odds of that? Right at the end of the day, just an absolute giant does something like that. I mean, what are the odds? And I don't have my camera on. All right. I don't want to get completely soaked, so that's going to wrap up the video, guys. Unfortunately, we were not very successful today. We caught one little dinky bass, but we learned a lot about this kayak. I definitely think it's worth the money, but for $1,600, why does this thing not have rod holders? I mean, that's crazy. I'm going to buy some rod holders. That'll hopefully make me a lot more organized next time, and I need like a crate to store my tackle in. But in general, I feel like we're in a good spot, and I definitely want to get off the water today before the storm starts to hit. That said, guys, if you like this video and you like the fishing content, make sure you like the video. Subscribe if you haven't, and I will catch you guys next time.